Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for attending, or if you're watching on TV 970, thank you for watching our Westminster Canterbury Weekly for October 7th. We're going to start out today. We have a very special segment with Dr. Bill Blake and the Employee Christmas Fund. So now I'm just going to turn it over to Dr. Blake. He's been working with some of our engineering team, and they've been rehearsing this year's ECF song. So we are going to invite you to participate with them as they sing Dr. Blake's ECF song this year. Greg wants to be right center, right in the center of the stage.
I need you in front of the mic.
My friends, oh, wow, scared me. Last January, I was going down the hall, and Judy Hamilton and 2 or 3 of the engineers said, we just had the Christmas fund gifts passed out to the employees in the previous month, and this was in January, and they said, sing us a Christmas song, the Employees Christmas Fund song. And I said, well, I'm not sure I remember the words. And she said, do the best you can. So I sang it for them in the hall. I thought, okay, well, I did one for you, you owe me one. And so I asked the engineers if they would come and sing you the 2021 Employees Christmas Fund song. And so I'm happy to present to you now the singing engineers. Can everybody see me? All right, you ready to go? All right, I'll give you the note now. Listen to the note. Cooks, cooks. Okay, first word, let's go. Cooks and cops and girls with carts and guns to keep us running. Caregivers galore or more, what a place. Their families bound to sing and pass on to our children about how the heroic few got us through. We will not fail, the Canterbury tale, narrate it with distinction. Workers who with daring do save hundreds from extinction. Dig down deep, let's make a heap of cash for wonder workers. It's something I want to do. How about you? It's something I want to do. How about you? Oh. Did you get the photo yet? Did Bob get the photo? Did you get the photo?
Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Blake. Thank you, team, that was great. Well, you can leave it, Greg. You can leave it. Greg, don't worry about it. We knew they had talent. I'm glad we were able to finally find it. Thank you, Dr. Blake. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. So what we have today, we have a number of different speakers for you today, and I'll be back in a little while. But first up today, we have, I'm not sure I have my agenda right here. Let me make sure. Yeah. So first up today, we're going to hear from Windley Gravatt, our Vice President of Workforce Services. She's going to talk to you about our Diversity Advisory Council that's been established recently. After Windley, we're going to introduce you to a number of our construction partners. Some of those individuals you've probably seen around campus already, but we're going to introduce you to them and let them tell you a little bit about what they do. After that, Vice President of Jason Collins, who was just here singing with us, he will join us for a few minutes to give you some facility updates. After Jason, Debra Jacobsen has a couple of resident services updates, and then Lynn McClintock has a couple of pastoral care things for you, and then I'll be back with a couple updates, and then we'll open the floor to some questions. So first up, let me invite Windley to come out and share the Diversity Advisory Council.
That's a tough act to follow. So good afternoon. As part of our efforts of diversity, equity, and inclusion at Westminster Canterbury, an employee-led Diversity Advisory Council has been established and began meeting in late March. This effort is one of several initiatives undertaken to ensure that we have a solid, long-term approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. All the divisions of our workforce have representation on the council, which includes 14 employees, 1 corporate board trustee, and 2 members of our workforce services team. We started by meeting every other week to get established, and now we're meeting monthly, occasionally a little bit more if needed. We've been doing a lot of researching and self-educating on all the topics that fall under diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've also worked together to identify a set of achievable goals that include reviewing current interview practices and recruitment processes, identifying other areas that should include a multicultural lens, building awareness of different religious holidays, and broadening our communications efforts so that all employees are informed and feel a stronger sense of belonging. This type of work is ongoing. It's a large and constantly evolving subject. For example, our workforce has undergone a series of trainings and workshops at various management levels to address leadership in the 21st century. 120 randomly selected employees also participated in a workshop on creating sensitivity in the workplace. This series of coursework was established in partnership with the Community College Workforce Alliance to gain a better understanding of how facilitating organizational change may come about and how to learn more about leading diverse teams. Takeaways gained by different levels of employees have helped to educate council members on how to become more knowledgeable about what diversity is, what conscious and unconscious biases may influence a person, and how to begin to look at our community through a broader lens. The council is led by Chair Annette Foster from our dining department, with other members taking the lead on various assignments as needed. I'd like to introduce Council Member Veronica Merriman, Assistant Manager in Housekeeping, who's here to tell you a little bit more about what the council is doing.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Windley stated, in late March, a Diversity Advisory Council was formed. After forming listen sessions held last summer for employees to share concerns with management, the comments expressed by staff needed to be addressed. The Diversity Council strives to address those concerns, and we want to ensure that each staff member feels they have a voice. The overall goal of the council is to create a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable place to work and live for all members of Westminster Canterbury community. The way to achieve this goal will include providing education and training, sharing information that is vital to making changes, and regularly reviewing our progress. One of the initial efforts the Diversity Advisory Council undertook was addressing Westminster Canterbury of Richmond's recruitment process, specifically determining if diversity-related questions are part of the initial pre-screen. Council members researched what other comparable organizations do After much discussion, the council obtained permissions to add a short series of interview statements, questions to all Westminster Canterbury recruitment phone screens. In addition, 4 council members have been trained on asking these DEI-related questions during interviews through an interview panel. We embrace the diversity of our workforce, and we are working to build awareness and interest in the traditions and holidays of different cultures as a part of our first step. Each month, we publish information about different holidays to inform our coworkers. We also address different topics in our employees' newsletter, the In Touch, touching upon such subjects as teaching about belonging in our Child Development Center, creating opportunities for coworkers to exchange ideas, share dialogue, and even collaborate together to form movie-watching groups that meet and critique the films. We are looking at ways to ensure a broader representation of our incredible workforce in videos, photos, and on social media, and other communication methods to represent this diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture and a greater sense of belonging. We will continue to do our part to make Westminster Canterbury a great place to work. Thank you again, and I'll turn it back over to John.
Wonderful. I don't know you, but I hate these things. All right, like I said, at this point, I want to introduce you to a couple of our construction partners. So I'm going to ask them to come on out. You guys come on over here. All right. So let me introduce who we have here. They're going to take a minute, introduce themselves, and talk about what they do, what they're responsible for. But down at the end, we have Bryant Wilson. He's with Jones Lang and LaSalle, and he'll tell you about them. Next to Bryant is Sara Morgan. She's also with Jones Lang and LaSalle. In the hat, we have Wayne Willett. He's with Henderson Construction Company. And then Ed Pinkerton. Ed's with Gilbane, and Mark Hillard is also with Gilbane. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you what they do for us, and then I'll jump back in here. So go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Mark Hillard. I work for Gilbane. I am the Senior General Superintendent for this entire project. Right now, my main focus is on the new parking garage and supporting Ed with who's doing the promenade work. Just a little bit about me. This parking garage is number 502 for me. And I'm hoping it's number 502 so I can retire when this is done. I'm at that point where this is hopefully my last parking garage. So I've done them all over the country, and I'm looking forward to this one here, and the challenges that come along with it are always fun. And I welcome anytime you're in the area, you want to peek through the fence, you have a question, I'm here. So if you have any questions later on, we'll answer them, and I'd like to introduce my partner, Ed.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed Pinkerton, as John said. I've been working for Gilbane for quite some time. We work together also, too, in Houston, Texas, together. So I've been here 8 years, and this is my home out here now. So my main focus is to work on the promenade room and to build a nice, beautiful dining room for y'all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Wayne Willett. I'm with Henderson Incorporated. Excited to be here on a joint venture with Gilbane. I'm a project engineer, so I will be working on the promenade, and I will be doing the parking garage as well, assisting these gentlemen. I've been in construction now for probably 4 years with Henderson, and I'm looking forward to a successful project here. Thank you.
Hello, I am Sara Morgan. I'm with the JLL team along with Bryant, and we have a third person, Michael Bender, who is not here right now. We are the project managers for the promenade, the parking deck, and the soon-to-be vibrancy project that's coming up. For a little bit of what we will be doing for these projects are we represent the owner and we are their direct contact. So we oversee the project, the planning, the design, the construction, the schedule, the budget. So we are in a lot of contact with the contractors and the vendors on an everyday basis, and update the owner as need be. And a little bit about myself. I started off with interior design degree in residential and commercial design, and have been project management for a few years now with JLL, and recently completed the Sheltering Arms Institute project with Brian as well. Thank you.
So as John indicated, my name is Bryant Wilson. I'm here so that Sara has someone to pick on, because if she does not, we are all in trouble. So I needed to be the good target. I've been doing project management and building facilities mostly on the Eastern Seaboard for about the last 25 years. And this is a very exciting campus and an incredible project, and I'm looking forward to seeing this come out of the ground. Thank you.
Well, you'll get to know them. They'll be here. I mean, this team's pretty much here every day, and we interact with them daily. You're going to interact with them for the next couple of years. If you have complaints, if you have suggestions, if you see something that isn't safe in your view, please share it. This is the team that helps us keep this place safe during construction, and we're trying, and we want to continue to try to improve, to communicate and make sure we're staying ahead of this for you. So if something isn't the way you think it should be, share it, and we're the group who's going to try to make it right. So over time, you'll get to know them better, and they'll be here for these monthlies so that they can answer more of the technical questions, because you can ask me all sorts of questions, and I'm not going to know the answers. These guys have the answers to how it's going to be built, when it's going to happen, and that sort of thing. So thanks for being here. Some of them got to go, but others are going to join us for the Q&A later. So thanks, everybody. Thank you. Sara mentioned that they did the Sheltering Arms Institute out in West Creek, and I'm on the board at Sheltering Arms, so that's how I came to know Bryant and Sara, is through their work there, and I was really impressed with the work they did. So we invited them to make a proposal for this job, and we've been real happy. The work is top notch. So. At this point, I'm going to invite Jason Collins out. He's got some facilities updates for you. After that is Debra, and then Lynn. So see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, residents. I always enjoy a live audience better than the recording, so it's good to see your faces. I only have two announcements that to make this week, but they're definitely going to have impacts on how you enter the building, so pay attention. Next Thursday, October 14th, starting at 9 a.m., we'll be conducting power washing of the concrete surfaces at the entrances. You know, sometimes we get spills and things, and stains. We got to clean those up. And then we're going to do mechanical cleaning on all the overheads where the cobwebs build up, look ugly. So we're going to be doing that starting at 9 a.m. We're going to shut down all of the entrances, CCL, Tower, Avalon, CDC, and the garden apartments. We'll be closing the individual entrances one at a time, though, not all at once, for 1 to 2 hours each time, each entrance. The goal of this is, you know, first impressions are really big, so, and the services and conditions you expect and deserve. So we want to make sure that, you know, first impressions with future residents that are coming will you know, they'll be bright, shining, clean, and well-kept front entrances so that we can show off the best of WCR. So we appreciate your patience as we conduct this work. It's important work. The next one is a little more impactful. On Friday, October 15th, starting around 1 p.m., we're going to shut down the tower entrance. Okay, so the entire tower entrance. We're going to be sealing that stamped concrete pad in front. I don't know if you've noticed, but the sealant has worn away in multiple areas, and you have to properly seal it every 2 to 3 years so that if you do not, it will reduce the length of time, and it will eventually crack. So we got to get that sealed before winter, and we'll start that at 1 p.m. again Friday. It'll take about 4 hours to seal that stamped concrete. Then it will have to remain closed overnight so that it can properly cure, and we'll reopen it first thing Saturday morning, 8-ish or so. So we will be able to allow foot traffic on it after a couple hours, so it won't be totally closed the entire remainder from like 5 o'clock all the way through, but it will definitely be closed to vehicle traffic. But you'd certainly be able to kind of go around it and even on it with foot traffic. So bear with us there. We will be redirecting you through the Brown Garden and the West Tower entrance during this time frame, and there will be appropriate signage redirecting all foot traffic and vehicle traffic to those other entrances. So thank you for allowing us to do the work. I know it's inconvenience, and I appreciate it. Next up is our administrator for residential living. I'll be happy to, can I hold that question until, I'm going to be down here, and I'll be happy to answer all questions. Feel free to ask. Debra Jacobsen.
Good afternoon. It is so great to see you all out there. It's so much better than standing in this empty room as we've done in the past. I have 2 announcements for you. The one is about salon services. I recognize over the last few months, many of you have voiced concerns about the inconsistencies with appointments and scheduling in the salons. I know there's been frustrating times and not being able to have the standing appointments that you've had in the past, which makes it hard for you to schedule other activities throughout the day. And for that, I apologize. I do want to let you know that the salon staff, both new and long-time employees, understand and are working to return to a stable operation now that all the salon operators have returned. Many of them were out for unexpected reasons, but they have all, as of today, all the salon operators have returned. We have welcomed several new staff members, and they are hitting the ground running. They're there to meet your needs. I do ask your patience as the new staff get themselves oriented and schedules are finalized to best meet your expectations. In the meantime, your opinions are very important to me. And if you have any questions or concerns, I ask that you give me a call at 264-6032 because it really is easier when I know your concerns and I can do something about it. Next, I would like to talk to you about the shops on Maine. If you've been to the lower level recently, you'll see the shops are being refurbished and are being painted with bright and beautiful colors. And as of today, we had a meeting with all the chairs of the different shops, and it was a very productive meeting. What we're doing is trying to prepare for a reopening. It will be later in the fall. We don't have a direct date yet, but we'll be letting you know. One thing we do need, we need a chair of the treasure chest. I want to tell you that this is a wonderful opportunity for you to give back to the Fellowship Fund because all the proceeds go to the Fellowship Fund, and there's a wonderful group of people that are willing to help you as you get oriented to the treasure chest and those responsibilities. So if you're interested in volunteering, call Penelope Saffer or Kathy Morton, and either one of them from the resident or the staff perspective will be more than glad to help you. So that's all for me today. I'm going to turn it over to Lynn McClintock, and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you. I just have a couple brief things to mention today. One is, how many of you all have seen the prayer booklet that Pastoral Care puts out? A bunch of you. Great. We are getting wonderful responses from the prayer booklet. It's just a daily prayer ritual or order for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day of the week, and it provides structure and meaning to your day. So if you have not gotten the October one, we do a new one every month, please call Vanessa Perry at extension 1502. She'll be happy to set you up with a prayer booklet and for this month and months going forward. I want to mention that next Thursday, Dr. Brian Blunt from Union Presbyterian Seminary, he's the president of Union, will be leading chapel for us, our worship service on Thursday at 10:30. For us, that's a big deal because Brian is really one of the best preachers in our country, and we hope that you'll come next Thursday at 10:30. The last thing I'll mention today is that this evening, we have a concert with pianist Maria Yefimova. The tickets have all been reserved at this point, so I'm afraid there aren't more tickets. But we do ask that if you have a ticket and you're planning to come, to please come no later than 7:15. We want the concert to start right at, 7:15. We want the concert to start right at 7:30. We don't want folks coming in when she starts to play, and it takes just a little time to get settled. So please come at 7:15 at the very latest. If you're planning on coming, it's going to be a wonderful concert, and we hope you'll come. We do thank Bev Beck for providing the funds for the concert series. And Bev is doing this in honor of her friend Betsy Bampton. So we really are grateful. I don't know if Bev is still here, but we are very grateful. Everybody's pointing. There. She's gone. But we're very grateful to Bev for this very generous donation of the concert series. So we hope we'll see you tonight and hope y'all have a good day. And John is back with us.
All right. Okay, I have a couple of updates for you, and then we'll open the floor up with questions. Quickly, a coronavirus update. Over the weekend, we learned about a couple of positive cases of COVID-19 within the children in the Child Development Center. This is really the first time we'd had an outbreak in the CDC, and unfortunately, due to the fact that the outbreak has happened, our pre-kindergarten class, our pre-K classroom will be closed until October 18th. We had a couple of kids test positive, and then we had a couple of teachers test positive, and then we had a few more kids test positive. So at this point, we have 6 children and 2 teachers in the CDC that have tested positive. I think they're, from what I understand, many of them have some symptoms, but not real sick, but they are definitely having symptoms of the disease. So we're not aware of any cases at this point amongst our residents. We're very thankful for that. But if you are having any symptoms or you think you've been exposed, please let the clinic know, and we'll make sure we get you tested. We have a total of 4 employees currently that have tested positive and that are out in quarantine while they recover. And that's kind of where we've been for a while, and we expect we'll be there for a while as well, with a few cases here and there amongst the workforce, and hopefully no more amongst the kids. But it probably was inevitable that we would have an outbreak with the way the Delta variant has really spread through children. So that's where we are today. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issues a positivity rate for Henrico County that we monitor, and we continue to see that rate drop. It's currently at 5.76. It's an improvement, a little improvement over last week. Continues to head in the right direction, and that's good. For our region, we are seeing it head in the right direction, and we're really thankful for that. If you take a look at the data, you'll notice that in other parts of Virginia, it's not really the case. In the Tidewater region, the rates are still going up, and they're in the 15 to 20% range. So not a great situation in Southwest Virginia, Western Virginia, and in the Tidewater area. The rates are still pretty high, But we do feel good that they are going to continue, they are going to drop, and that this winter we're going to see the rates come way down. And there's a lot of speculation that by late winter, early spring, we should be basically to the other side of the worst of this. So we will keep being safe, and we'll get there, and we're hopeful about that. We are working to establish a clinic, a booster shot clinic for everybody, all the independent living residents here and our staff who want it. And that's scheduled for Tuesday, October 26th. We will have Walgreens here. They will be delivering the booster shots to anybody who wants it. So we'll share more details about the schedule and the registration process for that over the next few days. So look for that as that comes out. This week, we continue to administer booster shots to our residents in Parsons Health Center and in assisted living. Just in the last couple of days, 71 assisted living residents received the booster shot. So making good progress there, and we're thankful for that. We want to make sure those residents who aren't able to get it through these other clinics, our nursing staff's able to provide it for them. Switching gears now to the Vibrancy project and the parking deck. Construction continues. You met the team a few minutes ago on the parking deck and the promenade renovation. You're probably hearing the promenade a little bit, and if you look out back, you'll see the work happening to set the piers for the foundation for the parking deck. Next week, beginning on Monday, on the 11th, there's going to be a road closure near the parking deck construction back in the back. Residents, you shouldn't be greatly impacted, but we want you to know that that's happening in case you need to get back there. Near the Child Development Center and at the Gables and Monticello entrances, the traffic pattern has to change while we tie in some new stormwater piping. And so that road will be disrupted for a few days while we do that. The CDC parents will be dropping off and picking up their children near the Avalon entrance in the Avalon turnaround. So that area there at the Avalon entrance is going to be somewhat congested. So if you need to get in and out of there, just expect there's going to be some traffic in there for a few days. Residents who might normally pick up their spouses at the CDC entrance, and we know there's a few of those, you'll need to use the Avalon entrance or down at the other side by the Monticello and Gables doors is where we'll need you to do that. And please be cautious, extra cautious, if you're out and about following these new traffic patterns, because it is going to be a little different for a few days. There will be, and they're making arrangements to make sure that delivery traffic and construction contractor traffic in the areas managed and stays safe. Also, on the Vibrancy project, the sales effort with the new units that we'll be building continues, and it continues to move along very nicely. We're very happy with the progress. Stacy, who's here today, and her team are doing great work. I learned from their emails today that the sales team has secured 10% deposits today on our 49th unit. So it essentially puts us at 50% reserved of the units that we'll be building. That's way ahead of where we thought we'd be at this time. And it's pretty well split, pretty evenly split between the two areas, the Village apartments and the Vitality apartments. It's proportional to what we're going to build. And it's been that way, and it has stayed that way really since we started the sales process. So Stacy and Kathy and Lori and Pat and the team have done a phenomenal job, and the wait list that's interested in this product is very excited about it. So that's all really good news, and we're happy about that. Last thing before we get to the Q&A is the security team will be testing the fire alarm system, the horns, in the courtyard on Monday, the 11th, at 3 p.m. The purpose is they're working on the volumes. It's really loud. If you live in the courtyard, you know that. You don't need me to tell you that. It's really loud everywhere, but it's really loud in the courtyard. And so they're going to be doing some testing on the horn volume. There's a threshold. It has to be at a certain level, and they want to bring it down to that level, if I understand this correctly. Glenn, you're sitting there. You're giving the thumbs up. So we want to bring it down to the floor of what's required. And to do that, they got to do some testing. So you might want to be out of your apartment at 3 o'clock. The testing will take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. So you'll probably know when it's over because you can hear it when it happens. So thank you for that, and share that with your neighbors if you don't think they know about it. Share it with them, because otherwise they'll learn the hard way when the alarms go off. So that's it for me now.